10 things that I learned after traveling with 2 kids internationally in less than 5 minutes. We took our kids to Europe, spending 3 weeks in Germany, then a week in Amsterdam. This is coming from both I worked as a customer service agent perspective and I'm a paid passenger traveling with 2 young kids perspective. Number 1, make sure your infant is added to every leg of the flight. Now, if you're like us, to get to your final destination, you'll have to take several flights. I vividly remember helping several passengers with this huge mistake. You, as a passenger, just want to make sure that you cover all your grounds, especially if someone else is booking a certain part of your leg. This will avoid fees, delays, and major stress. This is insight coming from my flight attendant experience that most passengers don't know. After you check in for your flight and you notice your gate agent that's working your flight has arrived to her desk, politely ask if there are any 2 empty seats on the aircraft that you can switch to. Things happen day of. People miss their flight, they are late, and they're not able to check in, which creates more availability for the people who do. Now, this may mean lose the seat that you pay for, but this might ensure that you have more space for you and your little, who was once traveling lap infant, now has a seat next to her. That little extra leg room and seat makes a big difference on comfort and freedom during your flight. I think this only pertains to traveling internationally. When you book your ticket, request a bassinet on your flight. Even though my infant didn't stay in the bassinet long, I enjoyed a little time to myself. I love traveling through the airport with my stroller. I recommend gate checking it alongside the aircraft, ensuring that if I have to get off the flight and switch planes, I have something to put my children in and know that they're safe and secure out these busy airports. Bring snacks. Bring all the snacks. A lot of people don't know you can bring all types of food through security, as long as they're not liquids. Keep your kids happy, keep them fed, the things they're familiar with that you know they will eat throughout a busy travel day. An 8-hour travel day might turn into a 14-hour travel day. Bring snacks. Let your kids roam and play as much as possible. If they fall asleep on a long layover, wake them up. I mean, if they're gonna have a big fuss about it, okay, maybe let them sleep. If it was a hassle on the plane, who knows what happened before. But if you can, let them roam, explore your airport, do a little research when you book your ticket to see all the airports you'll visit. Some airports have some really cool facilities just for kids, because when you're on the flight, they have to be still. You want them worn out to fall asleep. This brings me into my next tip. You know, the gate agent always makes that announcement. If you're traveling with young kids, please board first. People who need extra time, board now. This happens before anyone else is boarding, well, after military. Now, as a customer service agent, I would appreciate it if you boarded early. As a mom who's been there, let them roam, okay? Don't board early, because you're already stressing and hassling around to keep your kids content and still on the aircraft. Now, boarding usually takes 30 to 45 minutes. That's an extra 30 to 45 minutes on top of the flight that you got to keep them. So if that means doing a couple extra laps before you get on the aircraft, get on in the middle. So that gives you time to break down your stroller that you left because you checked it. Extra of boarding time that you have to sit still while everyone's being seated, putting up their luggage, getting in their rows. Yeah, that time adds up and you're stressed. Do yourself a favor. Okay, I love this. There's a possibility of a blowout. Put your child in one size bigger diaper than they usually wear. That way I avoid the feeling of having to hurry up and get to a restroom. That just gives me more time to get to a restroom and avoid blowouts, especially when I'm traveling with a newborn. Always bring new toys for your kids that will keep them busy and entertained. Now, if your child's old enough, download a movie that they're familiar with and that you'll know they'll watch. And don't forget their kid-friendly headphones. When we traveled internationally, I try to book it around a time that makes sense for my infant. I know this is hard sometimes, but if you can travel during the day, during the short leg, and keep your kid entertained so that on the long leg they'll be asleep. Maybe going through the night because you think your child will sleep. However that looks for you, try to book around a time that makes sense. Now, my last tip is a big one. It almost should have been first. On travel day, go with the flow. Know that this is an adventure and this is part of the journey It is a privilege to be able to travel with your children. Go into it knowing that whatever happens to you, we're gonna make the best of it and we're gonna have fun. There's other moms out there, there's other families that are doing the same thing, so don't overstress it. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for mom hacks and travel tips. One leg down, and we have our long leg to go. Lord help us, 11-hour flight.